I'm sure many of you are familiar with the image that's in front of you. It is a bird, the largest known flying bird to have ever existed. They refer to it as Argentavis magnificens, and you can get an idea of how large this thing was. Now, there are many other birds that were much larger, but they were, of course, flightless. The name Argentavis is where I want to start today. The vast majority of these birds are found in South America, extreme South America. And in today's video, I would like to show you some evidence of it at a small island chain very near to Antarctica. Now, real quick, I have talked before about finding evidence that perhaps the ancient peoples of Antarctica were worshiping a bird god. I found a location where you can clearly see they've used some type of artistry, sometimes some type of artwork, to create this image of doing this. Thoth was, of course, associated with ancient Egypt, but as we know, a lot of the things that we find in Egypt, we find near exact parallels for in South America. I'm going to make the allegation that we're going to find them in Antarctica eventually as well. Now, real quick, let me bring this up just so you can see this. Okay. This is the location that I spoke of in Antarctica. I've covered this before. And on this hillside, for some reason, there are areas where the snow doesn't stick. And I've made this allegation before that this artwork that they used, perhaps they did it in relief so that the areas that don't have the snow are higher than the areas that do, or maybe they had used some type of paint, some type of treatment that had hydrophobic properties, making water unable to stick to it, therefore no ice, no snow. They also, and we've seen this specifically in southern South America, these giant megaliths, the only way you can appreciate them is from high above, and that's what we see here. Now, here's one, and I'll zoom in on it right here. Very clear. You can see right here that this is a bird. Here's the bill, here's the head, the neck. Here is another one with the wings. You can see getting ready to fly. The beak is open here. You can see the feet. Now, I had thought this one was maybe a mistake or an error, but I don't think it is now, because I found another region in this small island chain that I'm going to get to here in a second, and I think I have found a living bird that resembles this. Also, up here, you can see another image clearly of a bird's head. And if you go up even farther, up here, there's even more. Now, one or two strange images in one region, yeah, that could possibly be just, seeing things. But this, and before them, what do you see? This is clearly a human being, hands in front, with something on its neck. I'm not really sure. But clearly what you can see is the kneeling form, the feet, the lower leg, the upper leg, the torso. It's very clear what this is. You look at it, there's no way to unsee this. Now, real quick, before we go down there, I want to show you what we actually have evidence of living. The names of these are so unbelievably long, I'm not going to, I think this is for Sucus, hunting horses. This is a skeleton found. This is Dromornis. And this is what Dromornis would look like next to a human. This is a bird, Titanus something or other, next to a human. This is Kalankin. Here's a group of them, and it's kind of hard to see, but there's a human right here in the middle. The way they did this picture is retarded. But you can see some of these are 8, 10, 12 feet tall. This is Titanus hunting horses. So you can get a ballpark. And the idea is all of the skeletons of these are found very, very near, about as close as you can get anywhere to Antarctica without actually being on the continent. South, extreme south, South America. Now, just to give credit where credit is due on this, the actual location of where this was found was brought to me by someone who saw a curious landslide. And this is in the Sandwich Islands, just north, I guess, of Antarctica, the continent, just east of Argentina. Now, I looked at this and I'm like, well, okay, here's a landslide, but the curious part was this long giant piece that had slid in this perfectly straight, I guess, direction and then landed here. Now, I didn't think much of it. I mean, in the sense that, well, it's curious. Whatever this was, I'll get a quick measure for you so you can see it. In feet, it is, oh, 1 second here. About 200 feet long, roughly, which is about 60, 70 meters. So that something fell off the side of a mountain and caused a bunch of snow to fall after it, you know, it's cool to see, but I really wouldn't know where to take it, so I kind of left it be. I went back to it and looked around the region and found something, and I want to show you guys this. There is a cave right next to it, and when you zoom in very closely on this, I want to show you what's standing there. Now, this is a very, very tough one to get a picture of. Let me do this again so I get the exact right angle. Okay, there we go. Now, tell me you don't see a head, a giant beak, and a huge gray body and 2 feet underneath it. It's absolutely, totally insane. It looks like one of these giant birds sitting there, and it's looking at that avalanche. And I know this looks like it's ground level, but this thing is way up in the mountains. And it makes me also kind of wonder, I'll try to get back in here a little better. What we know of these modern birds that are like this is that we like to think of them as hunters, but a lot of the times they're scavengers. In fact, the bald eagle, national bird, is somewhat of a scavenger. And I suppose, you know, when you're hungry, you'll eat anything as a bird. Sorry, this thing is on the side of a mountain, and so it can't really be zoomed around and oriented properly because of the angle of the photo. I'm going to use my camera to zoom in here. And I can't think of any other explanation. I really can't. Let me see if turning the light down sets up the contrast a little bit. Okay, that's about as good as we're going to probably get it. But for my money, that's one of these giant birds. And what may have, and this is total speculation, but it kind of fits. I wonder if what this was perhaps the head and spine of some, pardon me, let me get this, pardon me, there we go. This thing that fell, maybe this was the head and spine of some giant ancient creature that had been stuck in the ice near or up to the side of this mountain. And because of the melting that's going on there we go. All right. That this thing just let go. It was a warm day and just the right amount of snow melted, and this thing let go. and fell. And these things have an amazing ability to find carrion. So I'm kind of wondering a little bit if that's what this might be. A giant piece of an enormous animal, and that this bird is eyeballing it. And I'll get back in here. I'm going to try to, let's see here. Let's see if coming in this way is a little bit easier. All right. There we go. That's a little better picture. So that's what I wanted to cover today, is that, I wish the person that brought me to this area, I went back to try to find the comment where they showed the coordinates, and it was gone. It probably just got tossed in a folder, and I apologize, but I do want to acknowledge that the location where the landslide is, I didn't find myself, someone else did, but the bird I found. So anyway, I'll leave it there. I'll let you guys make up your own mind. I will give you, of course, the locations, and we'll update the KMZ file so that you can go there for yourself, take a look and zoom in, and like I said, make up your own minds. That's why I do the videos the way that I do, and I give the descriptions the way that I do, so that you can go there, Google Earth Pro, download it. Of course, you need a laptop, you need a desktop computer, but you know, I have a 24-inch, so it's not a 4K monitor. So this is just normal. You know, I think 1920 by 1080 or something like that. So I think this is about as close to evidence that these things are alive as you can get. But anyway, God bless y'all. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the support, especially on the music. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.